Hello, and today we'll be playing Sylving, and the reason why I'm playing this is because it recently got redone, the whole story. So some characters that you saw in the original version have new roles now. So I haven't looked at really much of it, but the dialogue is new, and the author decided to do the whole story over again. So this is something I saw on my own on the itch.io page for this VN, and there have been some people who wanted me to redo it from the beginning, so that's what I was planning on doing. And people who contact me tell me that they want me to do it all over again. It made me decide to do it early now. So I wonder what changes have been made. So at least I get to see these characters again. I really enjoyed the characters in the original story, so I wonder what this new version of the story is. So I'll go ahead and start. This visual novel contains mature content and depictions of nudity, sex, violence, and blood, discussing trauma and other sensitive subject matter. By continuing, you acknowledge that you are a legal age to view this content and your reason. So, our name is Edward. One blinded by pride, their attention is different from what history will repeat itself. They will hunt, but it will bring no food to the table. The world is always changing, yet a stagnant mind brings nothing but misfortune. But wait. Oh, what peculiar scent. This passing breeze does not belong here, yet it seems so familiar to me. Oh, a naughty fox is prancing around where he doesn't belong, and he'll bring a new cub teeming with potential. So much fun to have. Change is finally coming to these dreary lands. The challenges that face him will be great, but he's not alone. Oh, what past I see. Many stories have ended before, and now another will begin. Oh, I can't wait to meet our little cub. I'm finally back. It's been a few years since I last saw this place. No matter how much this area changes with new buildings and newer junk, this spot always remains untouched. Just seeing the opening is getting me all nostalgic. I can't remember when I started, but I always loved coming to my cave as a kid, most often in the summer. The area is closed off, like usual, but I never cared about that. This place has been run down for as long as I can remember. The only thing showing its private property is a broken, rusty fence. As far as I know, nobody's ever gotten in trouble for trespassing, so the idea of getting caught is the last thing on my mind. Hidden in the darkness surrounds me, but the faint light from the entrance is enough to find my way. The moist, stuffy air weighs down on me. There's almost no airflow, and the smell of earth is quite powerful. The ceiling gets lower and lower as I make my way farther in. I miss the days when I was a kid and didn't have to bend down like this. Getting further in, the exit's enchanting light frees me from the darkness. I always feel like Gollum when I see that light. My precious. And there it is, big, proud, and vibrantly red as ever. My parents never knew about this cave. Whenever I wanted some space for myself, I came here, my own private treehouse. Well, mine is a house. I've never met anyone out here before. As far as I am aware, no one else even knows about this place. Which is strange, come to think of it. A cave as magnificent as this should attract some attention. Couldn't even find it online. It's empty today as well, but I prefer it that way. I've always enjoyed having this place all to myself. The air is lighter and easier to breathe compared to the tunnel, but the dampness is still there. I walk up to the tree and drop my back at its base before zipping up my sweater. The chill is here. The chill in here is quite nice after enduring the hot weather outside. I inspect the tree, seeing if anything is out of place. It's just as I remember it being. The walls of the cave are covered in moss and thick vines. Grass dots the rest of the clearing, with a crescent pond surrounding it all. The sun shines through the giant hole above, filtering through the leaves and branches. I'm relieved this place is still untouched. There have been reports of theft and vandalism in the area lately, and got worried they might have been in my cave. I really hope they don't find their place. I really don't hope they find their way here, but it's best I prepare for the worst and make the most of it while I can. I pull out my brand new smartphone and ready the camera. I want to at least keep the memory of this place alive if anything were to happen. The pictures of my old phone weren't all that great because of the bad camera, so it was only time to get one. Moving around to different spots of the cave, I snap a few pictures of the tree while searching for the best angle. My photography skills have improved a lot since my last visit, if I do say so myself. After taking multiple shots from every angle in the cave, I feel like I've gotten enough to look through to find the best ones when I get back to the house. I'm about to grab my backpack and leave, but then I stop for a second to think. I only really came for the pictures, but it would be a shame to go so soon. I've been so busy moving, I haven't had any time to relax. I plot down at its roots and lean back against it, my backpack and phone lying next to me as I run my fingers through the soft green grass. I remember the times I would come here and read my comic books, eat snacks, play with toys I had brought with me. Things were so different back then. I've done for the past few years is work, and more work in an electronics store in the big city. It was alright working there in general, but when it came to helping customers who wanted me to explain the more complicated machines and gadgets, I was to no help. It's not the lack of trying, my mind just couldn't get all the information found at the store's computer to stick. It was even worse when I couldn't really explain it clearly to the customers. It was discouraging working there and feeling like an idiot every day. I gave them my resignation letter and moved back home. I could honestly need a break to sort out my thoughts and feelings first, but I have to find a new job in the area already. I couldn't really save money when I spent most of it on bills and groceries, so I relied on my last paycheck for 1 month for 1 more month. Many people my age have moved away since this place is far away from towns and cities, so it shouldn't be hard to get a job at one of the few local stores still left. Once I'm back on my feet, I'll look for an apartment so I can live on my own again. I'm just glad my parents let me live with them for a bit using my old bedroom. Dad's been having trouble doing things around the house lately, so I'll be helping around while I live there, which I don't mind, not having much to do. I'll probably be busy sending applications for a new job when I get back home, so I might as well rest before I leave. It's been too long since I could just close my eyes and do nothing. Doing nothing is highly underrated. If only my job could be laying around all day. The sound of footsteps followed by whistling right beside me. Is there someone else here? Guess I'm not the only one who knows about this place after all. Open my eyes, I can't see anything but a big blur in front of me. Did I get some dust in my eyes or something? I run my eyes, almost willing my vision to clear before looking up. What the? A fox dressed to the nines is playing with his phone. His costume even has a big fluffy tail sticking out from under his cloak. Not exactly what I was expecting, especially not in this old cave. Is he a LARPer? I've seen some people online dressing up in old-timey outfits, but the whole fox costume is a bit much. Is there like a furry wind fair convention in town or something? Hey. I waved my hand, trying to get his attention. Hello? He's so focused on his phone. What could he be? Wait a second. Hey, that's my phone. What is wrong with this guy? Can't he hear me? No, he can definitely hear me. He's just pretending like he can't. Whoever this guy is, he clearly isn't all put together in the head. Hey, I'm talking to you. I get up on my feet and march forward. I said, I'm talking to you. He finally gives a response after raising my voice and grabbing his shoulder. He jumps back into complete surprise as if he'd seen a ghost. Not exactly the reaction I was expecting, but I guess he's staying in character. By the elders, how can you see me? Okay, definitely a LARPer. No one talks like that unless they watch too many fantasy movies. Or he's just delirious. He is, after all, wearing a full-body fursuit with stuffy medieval attire in the late summer. Maybe he came here to cool off. Now that I've gotten a closer look at him, his mask is strangely well made. The eyes are so realistic, and the way the mouth moves when he speaks is uncanny. I can't imagine how much it must have cost to get such a believable costume. The ears, the fur, the tail, everything. Listen, I'm not sure what you want, but if you need help contacting someone, I can. What? Hey, give me my phone back. Stop right there. I chase after him, but he's already got a big lead on me. I shouted at the top of my lungs, but he ignores it. He looks back for a moment, shocked that I'm still following, and breaks into a dead sprint. He exits the cave long before I do. When I breach the threshold, I can only catch a glimpse of him as he darts down the road. We're in the forest now. He must have come out of a different tunnel. I thought for sure that after all the time I spent in my cave that there was only the one exit. I put my focus back on the fleeing fox running through the bushes ahead. With how dense the foliage is, I might lose him. I attempt to gain ground by leaping over the brush. The dirt road bends around. Looking left and right, I catch the fox guy turning a corner far ahead of me. How is he so much faster than me? That costume should be too heavy for him to run like that. I'm already out of breath, and the farther we run, the farther away he gets. I don't know if I can keep this up. Finally out of breath, I come to a slow stop in this more open landscape I can see for quite a distance. But there's no sign of him. I didn't realize I was in such terrible shape. My heart's pounding like crazy. How was that guy able to run so fast? What was an Olympic level sprinter doing in such a ridiculous costume, stealing other people's phones? After a short rest, my breath is mostly back to normal, but there's still this slight sting in my chest. It's been a while since I've run for this long. It wasn't all that far, really, but that's what I get for being a couch potato. Straightening myself up, I take a look around. A half-watered fence is slumped on the side of the road, and a golden field of grain lies farther on. The thick forests and mountains beyond aren't familiar to me at all. An uneasy feeling overtakes me as if I'm not supposed to be here. We couldn't have gone too far. Maybe I just never knew there were mountains over this way. Which direction did we go again? Not wanting to give up on my phone, I continued down the road. Maybe someone saw the fox guy in which way he went. He sort of sticks out. The pain in my chest grows dull, spreading outward as I feel a headache coming on. That's when I see a familiar piece of fabric caught in a thorn bush on the side of the road. Okay, so he went in this direction. Maybe I can lure him to come back for it. Hey, fox guy, I found a piece of your costume stuck to this bush. If you want it, give me my phone back and we'll call it even. No answer. I was hoping he'd at least show himself. That way, we could try talking it out, and maybe I could convince him to return it. If this is some sort of prank, it's not funny. Ugh. My headache is getting worse. Letting out a loud, frustrated groan, I grabbed the torn fabric from the bush, not sure what to do with it, but something. I stuff it in my pocket. I just hope he doesn't unlock my phone before I can have it blocked. It's strange how big this forest is. If I had known all this was on the other side of the cave, I would have explored it years ago. But for now, I'm just hoping to find my way home before I get a migraine. It's hard to think straight through the throbbing pain, feeling harder by the second. Did I come this way? No, not here. I think maybe the turn was farther down. My head. The pounding is getting worse. Every heartbeat makes it feel like my skull will crack open from the inside. My whole body is sweating like crazy, making my clothes stick to my skin. I open my sweater and fan the flaps against my torso, anything to cool down. The pain in my chest is now an intense ache when I breathe. It's like my lungs are screaming at me not to take in the air. Every bone in my body itches like crazy, like ants crawling under my skin. I can't think anymore. My cells are getting more and more sluggish the farther I walk it. Something isn't right. I double over, just trying to breathe. I can feel my heartbeat pulse through my entire body. Everything feels wrong. I need help. I try to yell for help, but my voice won't come out. All I can do is gasp for air. The harder I try to breathe, the more difficult it becomes. What is wrong with? Well, my whole body feels sore. It feels like I was hit by a car, a very big car, repeatedly. I try to turn over, but my body just has no energy to move. Body, how can you betray me like this? I thought we were friends. What time is it? I didn't hear my alarm go off. Meekly stretching my arm out, I reach for my nightstand, but I can only feel more space on my bed. I don't remember my bed being this wide, or that I even got, or that I even got to bed. I just hope I plugged my phone in before I went to sleep. My phone? My phone! I jump into a sitting position as my eyes fly wide open, looking around frantically for my phone, but I sat up too fast and slumped back down, dizzy. I found myself on something soft in a brightly lit room, sharp sunlight shines from the right. I squint until my eyes adjust. Where am I? Sitting up fully on the bed, I grip the silky red seat that's covered me. Slowly, it dawns on me how truly unfamiliar my surroundings are. All the furniture look like antiques. I can't see any lights, outlets, or other trappings of modern design. There's a chest made of solid wood with intricate carvings that looks handmade. The features looking a bit asymmetrical, asymmetrical in parts. Not that I'm judging the craftsmanship. Clearly, whoever made it knew what they were doing and did a far better job than I ever could. A similarly designed wardrobe stands on the opposite end of the room. It's so tall it almost grazes the ceiling. It's a wonder how anyone could get it through the door in the first place. Next to it is a big wooden tub, very simple, with just two metal hoops holding it together. Turning to my right, I see a drawer with a big mirror on top and a candelabra. I remember my grandma actually had something like this in her bedroom. I think she called it a vanity. The little carved accents give it a simple elegance. It's way nicer than any of my furniture. I look around some more and spy some red drapes and painting in a shield. I've never seen a real shield in real life before. This strikes me as an odd thing to decorate a room with. This setup would be picture perfect if it wasn't for my shoes and sweater in the middle of it all. Wait, how did I even get here? My mind's still trying to to wake up, and I'm not entirely convinced I'm not dreaming. The floor creaks from behind the door. Is someone there? Are you up, stranger? I heard you shout. A deep and husky voice comes through the door. I don't know why, but I feel uneasy. I'm gonna answer him. Hello? My voice is raspy and weak. I didn't realize until now, but my throat is painfully dry. Good. You're finally awake. What? Wolf. Werewolf. Big werewolf. I'm glad to see you're in better condition today. The big werewolf comes closer. I have to tilt my head back to meet his gaze due to his towering height. Your fever was dangerously high when I found you. I believe you managed through the night. He leans forward, placing his hairy head against my forehead. I was so stunned, I'm completely frozen. Has your fever gone, dude? I jumped back in bed with a silent scream. Sucking in air, I stare at him wide-eyed. My apologies, I didn't mean to startle you. I shouldn't have touched you without asking. But it looks like you're well enough to move on your own again. That's good. How are you feeling, stranger? I'm too busy reeling from the sight of him answer him without thinking. Fine. That's good to hear. Can I ask you to stay in bed a little longer? You were unresponsive for a long time, and I'd like you to take things slow. Huh? A wolf. A werewolf. An actual werewolf. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Agnarr. I have your name. I can't very well call you stranger. He chuckles, and my apprehension is chipped away little by little. This isn't exactly what I was expecting when meeting a werewolf for the first time. Aaron. Aaron. Quite a fine name for a lion. It suits you. For a lion. I guess that's a compliment, but why a lion? And why is he being so polite? Movies have given me a much different concept of werewolf behavior. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Horror flicks aren't exactly the most reliable source of information, but all the same, I'm just happy he's not mauling me right now. Struggling for words, I put a hand to my face as I scan the room again. Am I really awake? My face feels strange. Look around my cheeks, nose, and mouth. Everything is strangely lumpy, and things seem to be out of place. At least there is no pain, but something is definitely wrong. What's happened to my face? My face is all big and swollen. But I found you. Aside from your fever, you seem unharmed. Don't worry, there are no lumps or bruises to be found on your muzzle. Here, have some water. You need to drink a lot when you have a high fever like that. He leans to the side and pulls up a mug from the floor. I hadn't even noticed it was there, but being so close to the bed that I couldn't see it. Here, there's more in the pitcher where you need it. Before I can grasp the mug, I see my own hand for the first time since waking up in this bizarre place. But it's not my hand. This one's covered in sword, light. But my hand. You know what? Always my left hand, only to see it's the same as well. I rub the hands on the arms, feeling fingers stroking fur, as if I was petting a cat, but it's like an out-of-body experience, like my brain can't quite resolve the conflict of sensation and expectation. Is this really my arm? You mean your paw. Does it hurt? No, but why are my arms covered in fur? The big werewolf immediately goes silent. The tension cutting the air feels as sharp as any knife. I shouldn't have said that. I don't want to upset the wolf, especially not before I can figure out what's going on. Whatever's wrong with me, it'll be safest to act natural and take things in stride for now. Play along now. Panic later. I mean, why is my fur so orange today? It must be the light in here. My mind's been pretty foggy since I woke up. I'm all over the place right now. Ha, you're a jokester, I see. But that's a good sign. If you're well enough to crack jokes, your recovery must be coming along well. I try to smile back at him, but it's hard to muster one while thinking about whatever's going on with me. Joking aside, you better drink up. Your body needs all the water it can get when you're sick. He hands the sizable mug of water to me, and I accept it gingerly. You should drink as much as you can. I'm happy to refill the pitcher when it runs out. I've never seen you in the village before, Aaron. Are you new in these lands? I guess. Where are you from? I'm from a town, not too far from here, I think. Really? The nearest town is several days' journey from here. Can you tell me the name of your town? It doesn't seem like it's a good idea to answer that question, but at the same time, it seems like a worse idea to lie. Not knowing what else to do, I just look down and keep quiet. You seem a bit tense. You're still not fully recovered. There should be some riverroot somewhere in the house. A cup of it should help calm your nerves. Do you like riverroot, Aaron? I've never heard of anything called riverroot. Sounds medicinal. Sure, I can handle bitter drinks. That's good. You stay here and rest while I go downstairs and fetch it. And with that, he walks out the door. Finally alone again. My hands are shaking. I can't believe I just talked to a real beast to a werewolf. I said beastman. It's a werewolf. Looking down at the water in the mud, I carefully lift it to my lips. I take a long gulp. The cool water rehydrating my throat, but the water spills out from the sides of my mouth and drips onto my shirt. I try not to think about it and just chug down where I can. I'll worry about what's wrong with my mouth later. I see the empty mug on the bed next to me and release a great sigh of relief. I really needed that. Looking down over the blanket, I can make out the shape of my legs. If my arms are like this, then does that mean? Pulling the blanket away, I can see that my feet are now covered in that same light orange fur, and my feet have been replaced with paws, with wide toes and claws. Lifting up my shirt, I can see a fluffy belly with a white tuft poking out of my pants. The scent of sweat hits my nose, making my nostrils flare, and I cringe. I cover my nose, inadvertently feeling that odd lump on my face again. My face. I need to look at myself in the mirror, right now. I hop off the bed onto my feet, only to immediately fall to the floor. Ow. Using the stool next to the vanity, I pull myself back up. My legs are shaking like a newborn fawn. Everything with these new feet feels wrong, even just standing on them. Putting one hand on the vanity, I push most of my weight against it and face the mirror. In this reflection, I don't see myself. Instead, I see a lion man wearing my clothes. I raise my hands towards my face, and the lion does the same with his fingers. It would do the same thing with his. My fingers feel short, bristly fur. The fur has a warm, light color to it. The cream white muzzle is capped with a broad pink nose. The eyes have a radiant blue color. The contrast with the orange fur makes them stand out more. There's a patch of white hair on his head, roughly swept back like a mohawk and nestled between round feline ears. Staring at him for a long, long time, the truth of what I'm seeing slowly washes over me. The fur bristles and stands on end. Looking closer, I catch something moving in the corner of my eye. I turn to look behind me, then down. At the base of my spine is a white tail flicking back and forth. Feeling around my lower back, my hands find the base of the tail slipping over my belt line. I have a tail? Hearing the door creak open behind me, I jump back against the vanity, nearly falling over and taking it with me. You're quite a jumpy one, aren't you? I'm glad to see you up and about, but you really should take it slow. I couldn't find any river root in the house, so I need to head out. But now, you better eat something. You were out for a whole day, so I know you must be starving. But you need to be careful to eat light today, since it's been a while. In his hand, he offers me what I assume is a bread roll. Sitting down on a padded stool, I stare up at him and take the bread from his hand. It's really stale. If it weren't for the weight, I assume he just grabbed a rock from outside to mess with me. It's really stale. If it weren't for the weight, I'd assume he just grabbed a rock from outside to mess with me. It smells somewhere between old grain and chalk. I can't see any mold on it, but it's so stale I have to wonder when exactly it was baked. How old is this bread? It's fine. I just bought it, so there's no need to fret. But it's so hard. It might be, but a lion like you shouldn't have any trouble with it. Do I really have to eat this? It's not like a baguette. It really is hard as a walk all throughout. I'm pretty sure that if I bite into this bread, I'll break every single tooth I have. But with how empty my stomach is right now, I'm desperate enough to try. I find a crack at the edge of the roll, putting my teeth to it as I carefully bite down. There's a loud, dull crunch in my mouth, like I'm chewing a mouthful of cereal. It's really dry, but it's not inedible. I take another bigger bite, clenching my eyes, preparing for the worst. I worry it might be the sound of my teeth crumbling, but it feels like they survived the ordeal. The bread isn't as bad as I feared, but the taste is extraordinarily plain. I didn't know how hungry I was until I finally got something in my belly. Before I know it, I scarfed down the whole thing. After finishing the bread, I see the big werewolves been quietly staring at me. You managed to eat it all. Must mean your fever's almost gone. When I found you, I picked up what I could find, but I'm not certain if this was everything. Are you missing any belongings? I only found these things by your feet. He's pointing at my shoes, and I'm sitting on my sweater, but there is one thing that's not here. I don't see my backpack. Where did you last see it? It was with me in the clearing of the cave. Next to the big red tree. People are wise to avoid the caves and not forests. They're not safe, especially the one with that tree. He raised his hand at the corner of the room. I can only assume the caves in that general direction. What were you doing there? Did you go there with anyone else? No, I was just visiting my old cave. Your cave. That cave is no laughing matter. Are you saying it belongs to you? As a kid, and I wanted to visit. No one goes into that cave just to visit it. He takes a step forward, pinning me against the table. What were you doing there? I didn't do anything. What did you do in that cave, Aaron? I said I didn't do anything. I don't even know what's going on. Where am I? Why do I look like this? I'm starting to really freak out. I don't even know if I'm safe right now with this werewolf glaring at me. I can feel my emotions swell in my throat, but I'm too scared to look away. A heavy silence fills the room, broken only by the faint murmurs and noises drifting through the window. We stare at each other uncomfortably for a painfully long amount of time. You're clearly not feeling well. You need more time to rest. I must go out for a while. Stay here until I return. Without another word, he's gone. I can hear his heavy footsteps followed by the sound of a door opening and closing downstairs. Feeling a little relieved, I register a sharp pain in my hands. Looking down, I see that I've held them clenched tight, and it hurts to open them. These new sharp claws have been dug deep into my palm. They're not bleeding, but I've left deep red marks in them. Just what happened to me? What is that werewolf after? Why would he take care of me? And what was with the interrogation? I'm not a real lion man thing. I want to be honest. But I don't even know what he expects me to say. He's not happy with how evasive I'm being. But it's not like he was explaining himself all that much either. And now I have to sit here and wait for him to come back. What the hell am I thinking? I can't stay here. Without my phone to call for help, my only option is to find my way back through the cave ASAP. I lean down and grab my shoes. I can only hope that wolf won't be back anytime soon. Come on, get in there. Damn it. Why did my toes have to get so big? My new feet have gone up a few sizes, making it impossible to get my shoes on. I really don't want to go out barefoot, but I can't even get my toes in properly. Stupid claws, stupid toe beans. Can I even call them toes anymore? They're as big as potatoes now. Stupid potatoes. Toes. Ugh. After several tries to maneuver my foot in, I give up in frustration. No matter what I do, I can't wear them when my feet are like this. Shoes or not, I need to get out of here before he gets back. I wrapped my shoes in my sweater and held the bundle to my chest before standing up, but standing proves to be quite the challenge. Putting the weight on my heels feels off, but I'll have to get used to it as I go. I take a step, flailing an arm around like I'm walking on a tight rope. To get any sort of balance, I widen my gait and take slow, small, deliberate steps towards the door. Opening it, I face a much greater obstacle. Stairs. I'm not even out of this room, and I've already hit a snag. The individual steps aren't long enough, making my toes go over the edge. The only way to get any real footing is to turn my foot sideways. I steady myself against the wall as I carefully take them one at a time. It's not fast, but it is the safest way down. Don't slip, don't slip, don't slip. I let out the breath I've been holding halfway down as my feet finally meet stable ground again. I look up the stairs I best as I turn around and find myself in an old-timey kitchen. It is pleasant and quaint. The sunlight streaming in through the windows is enough to brighten up the whole room. I find myself taking it all in. Cupboards, dining table, bench, and a wood-burning oven. Everything is very well maintained, and the scene feels quite cozy. They even have a small black cauldron sitting above the fireplace. I can smell the spice rack from across the room, but my nose struggles to identify the different scents. If anything, there are too many of them. Better not try to focus on the smells right now and see what other things are here. There is a hanger above the stove with a number of dried goods like meat, yellow flowers, and I think that's garlic. They're shaped like garlic, but the color is off and the skin has an unusual sheen to it, even in the low light. At first glance, I thought I recognized everything, but in fact, I haven't seen most of these ingredients before, like these short blue mushrooms. There's also what looks like a bunch of red grapes with fuzzy skin, like what peaches have, and I think the green curly things are beans. I shake my head, snapping out of it. I can't get distracted. The werewolf could be back in a minute. I make my way to what must be the front door and pull it open. Oh boy. I don't know what I expected. I could barely manage a talking werewolf. I'm not sure how to handle an entire town full of animal people. Maybe I should have taken a peek out the window first. I settle back to the living room and take a glance outside. Animals of all shapes and sizes, squirrels, moose, lizards, all walking upright and dressed in medieval clothing. I'm starting to have second thoughts about running out the door. I don't exactly blend in with what I'm wearing. One step out there, and I'll stick out like a whale in a jungle. At best, they'll think I'm a weirdo. At worst, they'll hunt me down and burn me as a witch. But if I stay here, the big wolf will come back and ask more questions he might not like the answers to. While he did act nice to me, he's clearly fishing for something, and I'm not sure what he'll do once he has it. Getting out of here is my best bet, The sooner the better. If I'm lucky, they might ignore me and think I'm just some weird, harmless guy. At least I hope so. Holding my bundle tightly in my arms, I waited myself for the first steps out there. Well, here goes nothing. I step out into the streets looking around in amazement at the strange place I found myself in. Small children raced between the legs of their parents. A small mouse and kitten was past me, using sticks to hit one another down the street. A number of food stalls sit across the street, their owners shout over each other in a contest to drum up the most attention for their wares. Freshly baked bread right out of the oven. Come get them while they're hot. Only $2.25. Squeezels, Jolois, Mambaras. You won't find fruits and vegetables better than these in all Norfolk. It's certainly an aggressive sales tactic. Did they yell like this all day? Though with the number of people they're drawing in, I can't argue with the results. I take a moment to get my bearings. The river pointed somewhere in this direction, straight down the street. I try to appear as inconspicuous as possible, doing my best to stay out of everyone's way. However, the uneven road, when paired with my new feet, makes walking naturally impossible. Still, I can't help but take in the hustle and bustle of this town. I see some people are dressed in nice, clean clothing, while others look worn and ragged. I pass by 3 ladies standing next to one of the stalls, and their chatter emerges from the white noise of the crowd. One of them is saying something like, "My husband's always been the working horse on the farm, but now he's the size of the farm." At that, all 3 erupted in a piercing cackle. If it wasn't for all the animalistic features, they all easily pass for human, even down to body language and how they gossip. Keeping my gaze forward to avoid eye contact, I do my best to avoid bumping into anyone, which is proving difficult because something behind me is throwing off my balance left and right. Taking a look back, I see the tail swishing like crazy. "Can't you stay still for just a minute?" I whisper to it as if it could hear me, but that just made it thrash even more. I give up on calming it and start trudging again. My balance really could do without this tail. Reaching a crossroad, I can see the woods in the distance down a path leading out of the village. Exiting the market, I pass a few residential-looking houses before emerging from the town. There's a nice mill house churning merrily above a stream with a bridge beside it. I can only hope my way back lies beyond. I just wish I had my phone now. No one back home is going to believe I came to a place like this. I hurry to the bridge, almost home free, when my footing fails me and I fall into someone green. When I push myself off of him, I feel that his skin is ice cold to the touch. It's a turtle, carrying a big shell behind his back. He's just a little shorter than me. My eyes shoot down to his left arm, or lack thereof. The sleeve is tied into a knot where an arm should have been. Looking back at his face, he's scowling at me. The furrows on his face or his brow are as obvious as the scar on his left eye. Sorry. I stare at the ground, give him a weak apology. I hurry up across the bridge, half jogging, half waddling, anything to get away from this awkward moment. It took longer than I'd have liked, but eventually the village is out of sight and I'm finally alone again. I take a deep breath, loosening my grip on the bundle in my arms. I don't know how many of them took note of me. but I don't really care at this point. I got out of there, and I'm never going back. I focus on the ground and mind my footing as I meander forward. The tail has mostly calmed down, making the walk much easier for me. Soon enough, I met with familiar scenery, the field of yellow grain, the stone wall, the rotten fence is all here. This is where I last saw that fox guy. Who I know now wasn't just some guy in a costume. I was chasing after a real, walking, talking, clothes-wearing fox. If I had known this, I wouldn't have chased him. For all I know, he could have bitten me when he had a chance. I guess I should be glad he didn't attack me back then. I've been through this way twice now, so I recognize the trees. This is around the spot I lost sight of him, so I must be close. Most of these trees are the same as the ones back home, but that one twisting in on itself with the purple leaves is something I've never seen before. Getting farther into the woods, I catch sight of a small stone trail leading off the main road. This has to be the way back to the cave. After a minute of maneuvering around brush and other overgrowth on the trail, I arrive back at the opening of the cave. A tree has partially destroyed the top of the entryway, prying atop the stonework and crumbling what's left of the pillars. I see why the big werewolf said people don't go here. The entrance on my side is much less ominous compared to this one. I feel a bit scared to walk through it, but it's the only way back home that I know of. As I make my way through the tunnel, I realize how much more spacious this side is compared to my end. I can easily walk upright, which I didn't really notice when sprinting through it the first time. The air is still heavy and cold, so at least that hasn't changed. The tunnel opens up, and I feel a wave of relief as I see the big red tree. I've never been happier to see my old tree than I am now, but it's strange coming in from this side of the cave. I make a beeline through the clearing, passing the tree toward where the tunnel home should be, ignoring my backpack laying by the tree. But the tunnel isn't there. Where? How? I drop my sweater and shoes, pressing my hands against where the exit should be, feeling around. There's just a solid wall. Was there a cave-in? I look around for any signs of collapse, but the wall looks like there never was a tunnel to begin with. I give a testing knock, hoping that maybe it's hollow. A false wall, but no dice. Another wave of panic starts to wash over me. I pound my fist against the stone, but nothing changes, nothing buzzes. Let me out here. I don't understand what's going on, but I can't just stop here. I keep pounding at the wall, shouting even louder. Let me out. But nothing changes. The wall stands firm. All that changes is that now my hand is in pain from punching solid rock. I grab a heavy stone from the ground and hurl it at the wall with everything I got. Wah! My yell echoes through the cave. It does the heavy clunk of the rock hitting the wall. Nothing. There's nothing but an impassable rock wall. I'm so confused. Am I even in the right cave? I can obviously see that everything is how it's supposed to be. The tree, the lake, the vines hanging down. Everything is as it should be. This is my cave. Except the tunnel switched. Why? How? If everything else is the same, why would the old tunnel just disappear? My head is spinning. I'm too overpowered or overwhelmed to make any sense of it all. Feeling lightheaded, I move back to the tree and sit against the truck. I put my knees to my chest, my body heavy with defeat, and stare off into the water, fighting off the waves of emotion that have been building up. The only thing I can think of is that if the tunnel switched places once, maybe they can switch again. Maybe if I just want it, it's bound to go back to how it used to be. Nothing's changed. It's been hours now, but the new tunnel is there. It's still there, and the old one still isn't. I adjust my sitting again. Been sitting here for so long that my butt's starting to feel sore. I just have to wait here until it turns back to the way it was. It's going to. It has to. Look up through the big hole above me. I watch the sky dim with the pink and yellow hues. It can't be long before it gets dark. What should I do? And the old tunnel doesn't come back soon. So I keep waiting. I'm scared that if I leave, I'll miss a chance. Man, I'm hungry. Wish I had bought that baguette from the convenience store before coming to the cave the first time. I grabbed something to eat before leaving the house. Got nothing but my notebook and pencil case in my backpack. Well, there were those blue mushrooms in the wolf's kitchen. If they're edible, I might be able to find some in the woods. And the water in here is clear, so it should be safe for me to drink it, probably. It's not exactly an ideal plan, but it's not like I've got many other options right now. Thinking hard about what to do, I spend my time exploring this body, mostly my face being all alien to me now. My nose and chin are abnormally large and fuzzy, with whiskers twitching as they brush against my furry hands. I move my hands up to my head and feel my big round ears. I give them both a gentle tug to see if they're really attached to my head. Taking a look at my hands again, I inspect the pads on my fingertips and palm. I still can't believe my body changed like this. No matter how much I stare at them, it just doesn't fully sink in. Footsteps. I look over to see a familiar brown figure emerging from the tunnel. I cover my head with my arms, hoping that he'll magically go. Just go away. Alan. I can hear him taking his steps towards me, getting closer and louder. I'm frozen, unable to run away. Taking his last step right next to me, there's a moment of silence. I refuse to open up my eyes. I just want this dream to end. Animal people, wearing clothes in a medieval-like place. They can even talk. Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. This is all just a dream. It has to be. There's no way any of this is real. Just let me wake up. Please. Listen. You must be scared and very confused right now, Alan. The tone in his voice is now low and softer, yet composed, not even a hint of being angry or upset. I want to help you, but to do that, I need you to tell me what happened. Regardless of your answers, I won't hurt you. We have my word. I slowly muster up the courage to look up to see him standing next to me under the tree. He's tall enough to grip one of the lower branches, his gaze solely focusing on me. Still, he doesn't seem tense, judging by how loose his grip is on the branch. He's calm, even when his face looks serious. If it's too much for you to speak, you can nod or shake your head. Do you understand? I clench my jaw, swallowing hard, as if that's some sort of response. Are you a Sylving? Or perhaps a Uder? A Uder? Sylving? Uder? I give him a worried look. I have no idea what he's talking about. It's alright, you don't have the answer. Can you at least tell me if you're from here? I take a deep breath and I shake my head. Did you try to go back to where you came from? I nod. Through this cave. I stare at where my tunnel should be, longing for it to at last reappear, but still just a wall. I look back up at the wolf and nod. Did you see a fox here? Did you chase him? How does he know about the fox? Again, I feel like the wolf knows much more than he's letting on. Still, I did chase after him when he stole my phone, and right now seems like the worst time to avoid his question. I nod. Arwen, you're not really a lion, are you? My blood freezes and my heart skips a beat. He knows that I'm not like him, not like any of them. I hold my knees to my chest, preparing myself for what he'll do next, but he just stands there looking at me. I see. But now, I need you to come back with me to the village. Can you stand? Back to the village. I spent all afternoon trying to leave it, but I have nowhere else to go. An on curl, using the tree for balance as I hoist myself back onto my feet. My legs are a little numb from sitting for so long, but I keep myself upright. You must take your belongings with you. I grab my backpack and stuff my suits into it. I pull my sweater on and follow the wolf out of the cave. After walking in silence for some distance, I look up at the wolf. He's a couple steps ahead of me, but he's maintaining a slow pace to match mine. When I see him glance back at me, my eyes snap straight down and focus entirely on the road. After a while, I find the courage to look back at him. I can see he's carrying a sword strapped to his back. I didn't even notice it earlier. It's enormous, yet it seems to suit his size. My gaze trails lower, locking onto his big tail. It sways in a smooth rhythm, in sync with his stride, swinging left and right. Left and right. Left, right. Ask me. What? You're a stranger in this world. You have questions. I'll answer the best I can, but you need to understand that I don't know everything. Oh, he's right. I have a million questions. Do you know what happened to me? When it comes to how you got here, I have an idea. But for your body, I don't know. So when you found me, I didn't look different to you? No, all I saw was you, a lion, passed out on the side of the road. I was told that as Sylving came out of the forest, I went out to look for it to make sure it wouldn't be a threat. But I found you. Your clothing was strange, and there were those odd things next to your feet. But you were unmistakably a lion then, just as you are a lion now. The fever you had was dangerously high. I tried to wake you, but you were out cold. So I carried you back to the village, hoping you would recover and tell me what happened. I thought you might have been involved because of your unusual garb. When you finally awoke, I was relieved you had been asleep for over a day, and the speed of your recovery wasn't anything short of a miracle. But from the moment you saw me, I knew something wasn't right. Most of what you said didn't make a lick of sense. The way you reacted and the answers you gave. I first thought you could be an eccentric noble who just liked to wear strange clothing, or an Uder in disguise. Riverroot isn't bitter. What? Riverroot. You said you could handle the bitter taste, but it isn't bitter. It has a milk-like taste. It's a common household ingredient, which made me suspect there was something more to you. I gave you the benefit of the doubt and assumed your mind was still clouded by the fever. But when you told me about the cave with the red tree, I suspected the worst and thought you might be dangerous. I was ready to restrain you, so you abandoned your facade. But that was a mistake on my part, and I'm sorry. You were obviously frightened. Had I not overreacted, I would have seen that you honestly had no idea what was going on. He gives a deep sigh and rolls his eyes, as if scolding himself. I really went to fetch you those roots. There was no point in questioning you further while you were so rattled. I was hoping that by the time I returned, you would have calmed down and been more willing to talk I never imagined you'd take off like that, not right after walking from such a severe fever. I rubbed the back of my neck. Sure, I feel a little bad for running off, but it's not like the wolf had been doing much to put me at ease. I was just really scared. No, I understand. I should have been more careful. I can only imagine what you're going through. But to think that you're a Sylving, of all things. The big wolf goes silent again, getting lost in his thoughts. I want to ask what that word means, but it doesn't feel right to ask that now. The streets are mostly empty as we enter the village. The street lights are lit. We don't pass a soul on our way to the market. The busy stalls from earlier are now closed and silent. Two drunks are coming down the street towards us. One's shirt is too small to hide his gut, and the other's breast has slipped out of her dress on one side. Both yell and laugh boisterously. I hide myself behind the wolf, not wanting to be seen or worse, bump into them. Reaching the house, I wait next to him as he unlocks the door. You must rest. We'll figure out what to do next in the morning. I need to stay inside until further notice. Understand? I'm not wondering what in this world could possibly be more dangerous than this big guy. You should go upstairs. Things will unfold early tomorrow, but with luck, we can send you back before things get more complicated. Without another word, I'll soak up the stairs. I don't have as much trouble going up as down. Small victories. The room is dark and quiet. Even the drunks in the street below have passed out of earshot. I drop my backpack to the floor before letting myself fall into the bed. I roll over onto my back and stare blankly up at the ceiling. This whole day has been crazy. I'm angry, confused, and just done with everything. I just wanted to take a few pictures on my tree, relax for a bit, and go home. That was it. If I had just left already, or gone another day or anything, I clenched my fist to relieve stress, but a sharp prick in my claws made me gasp and recoil. So I released a dissatisfied sigh instead. None of this should have happened, but tomorrow I'll get back home and everything will go back to normal. I roll into my side and stare at the darkest corner of the room. Even though the wolf knows I'm not really a lion, he promised he'd help me get home. He will let me go home, right? He called me a Sylving. Is that something bad? I grabbed the pillow and hugged it tightly to my chest. I really shouldn't be thinking like this right now. Like it or not, he's the only person I can rely on in this place. I just hope I can trust him. Oh, I still gotta stop right here. This is a menu screen changed. Well, we're at the beginning of the story now, so we haven't gotten to the bear yet. So anyway, so this is the Reforged version. This story got a makeover. It's got, both in the story and the visuals as well. So I like the new sprites for Agnarr. Like his chest, his upper body and the traps, is better proportion. The old version, they look kind of weird, but I like this part. I like that part better. His shoulders look more realistic. So there's an airplane going past here right now. Anyway, got some apps here now. You didn't have apps like in the old parts. He looks to have some abs now, and the trees and the vegetation, all of it looks very beautiful here. It's well done. So whoever did this did a great job, amazing job. So here are the pictures. Well, yeah, here's the pictures. Here's another one. This dog keeps barking out here. So here's another one. I'm gonna show you some of them, but not all of them. But anyway. Yeah, this is the menu screen way. Okay, so so far the story hasn't changed really much. Really at all, really. I mean, what changed is the visuals, the CGs and the sprite for Agnarr. It's changed a lot. It's way better now. And I enjoy these CGs, the art, the sprites of Agnarr, all the new stuff in this. So basically I believe like when he returned to the cave to leave in the passage out, that passage he went through the cave, and when it was no longer there, I believe it was that witch is doing. I don't know if she's a witch, but she seems to be like a witch to me. What we saw at the very beginning of the story. I believe the witch has something to do with that. I think she might want Ellen to stay here for some reason. Like she has something planned for him. That might be what it is, and she had something to do with the passage not being there. He was able to come in, but he couldn't come out. So that might have been that witch is doing. And Agnarr said that it was dangerous to go in there. Could also be due to the witch also. So got an Agnarr and a Sylving. So it's been a while since I read the original story, so I don't know what the terms are. So I'm just gonna wait until we go further into the story so I could be reacclimated with what those terms mean. But I think Sylving might be a term used for human, like people from Aaron's world. The world he was in before he came to this new world. So I forgot what Agnarr means. So anyway. So yeah, this is the first video on the Reforged version of Sylving. I'll leave the original videos, for the original version up. Just to see if there are any story differences or just to see all the differences in the sprites and the CG, to see how much it has improved. I'll leave the original videos for Sylving up. So we'll continue with Sylving next time. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.